The great philosopher king Marcus Aurelius said, "The whole universe is change, and life itself is but what you deem it."
Now I've heard a crying man is half a man with no sense of pride.
That came off. We are back at Al's house. This time, a few weeks have gone by and summer session is in full swing. It is 100% humidity. It's been raining all week. It's not a good sign for sending when you have to brush slugs off the rocks. Al's house, as we talked about last time, is a spot known for its difficult test pieces. My season project, which I unfortunately had to put on pause until fall, winter of our discontent, is over here on the right. And that is the normal attraction here at Al's house. There are very few climbs of lower difficulty. One of those climbs was Mama Bear, which is this aesthetic arête climb up the left-hand side of the Al's house face. Mama Bear is a beautiful climb. It climbs well. It's ultra classic. Everybody who comes up through Nova Scotia outdoor climbing will do Mama Bear on the progression through the climbs. It used to go at about V6, and it was the line that I would use when I was warming up, especially for the bridge, which is the difficult test piece, which starts at Grizzly, traverses across the face, and then finishes up the Mama Bear arête. Although Mama Bear is modest in its grade at about V6, when you do the bridge, the pump was so significant that everybody who has seriously worked the bridge found that this end arête would actually be the red point crux. You'd be so pumped that you'd actually fall off of these relatively modest moves. That was before. Now, there's been an exciting change here at Al's house. This flake here on Mama Bear has been super sketchy for many years. I had a few text messages from friends this year saying, you know, this might be the last season for this Mama Bear flake. And then finally, last week, I got an email from a member of the community letting me know that the inevitable happened and the Mama Bear flake has come off. Well, this giant flake, which was very positive, basically a jug, has completely come off. We're very fortunate that this granite rock is super solid. Holds like this change very little from year to year. Granite is super solid, but it's also quite brittle. The issue with the flakes is that water gets in behind, and the freeze-thaw cycle through the winters and through the seasons eventually dislodges the attachment points and the flake will break off. That's what happened here to the Mama Bear flake. When you tap on the flake, you can get a sense. So that is a very hollow sounding flake, especially with the chalk brush or something plastic. Solid, hollow. When holds break, it's an especially abrupt failure. It's too fast for your mind to recognize what's happened, as opposed to foot slips or other slips. You generally feel that the foot's going to go, and then it goes, and you have time to process what's happening. With broken holds, it's extremely violent and sudden, and just boom, you're on the ground. Breaks happen in climbing. Sometimes they ruin a climb or make it completely unclimbable. And in other cases, they can actually enhance the experience and improve the line overall. A great example of that would be Refined Line in Grover. It was a V9 originally by Nick Sagar, suffered a massive break. A flake almost as tall as me came off of the arête, and it created an entirely new rock climb. The opening sequence went from V3 to V10. Yeah, come on. And the overall grade went from V9 to V11, and it became a lot more nuanced and beautiful. Yeah. Come on, dude. Yeah, dude, sick. Yeah, dude, come on. This is it. Come on. Sometimes nature takes things away from us, and that's just how it goes. But sometimes it actually gives us something back, and that's the case here. So what I've done is taken the broken flake and reattached it here just so that we can have an idea for what the climb used to look like compared to what that it is today. The way Mama Bear used to go is that you would start sitting, you'd bump your way up the arête, foot over here, match, and then the crux was releasing this foot and fighting that barn door action. Once you get your feet back on, match the flake, work your way up, and then little pop to the top. So the crux of the original mama bear was to the flake. Once you had the flake securely, you almost always would send. Now it's a completely different situation. So what I'm going to do now that we've seen the old climb and it's sort of documented and we can mourn the loss, I'm going to remove the flake that I've taped up and start working the new line. And based on what I've scoped when I came here already today, I'm confident that there is in fact a new mama bear and maybe even a better mama bear. So I'm excited. Let's get it. For science, let's see if we can recreate what happened when mama bear broke. Hopefully I don't hurt myself or get this flake in my face.
Now I've heard a crying man is half a man with no sense of pride. But if I have to cry,
No way. Too scary. I can't commit to that. It's not gonna take my weight. No, it's too scary. Alrighty. And that's the unveil. That is the new mama bear. That's the hold there that came off. That is quite a substantial hold to lose. If we have a look at it, underneath we can see it was totally detached, so just hanging on by the two ends. So what we have to work with now for the new mama bear is this is all gone and it left very little behind. But we have a very nice crimp here on the arete. So that's going to make that's going to change the whole climb, because now the opening, the barn door is no longer going to be a crux, because this hand here is really quite positive for that move. And instead of facing like this, it's down pulling. So it's exactly what you'd want. Unfortunately, for the rest of the top, the holds have gotten substantially worse. So where we once had a nice long jug rail to work with for the throw to the top, we basically have a micro crimp here that is a couple of millimeters, and you can only really get 2 fingers on it. And this rail, which is nearly blank. I did find a bit of texture here, and there's a thumb catch. So the throw now is going to go from these two instead of this. Opening moves are going to be exactly the same, and the crux position is going to be moved. So I'll redo the opening, comparing it to the old mama bear, and then get into the top section. This used to be the crux on mama bear fighting this barn door, but it's gotten significantly easier to take this foot off and put it wherever you want, because this new crimp is a lot more positive than what used to be there. It's down pulling, so it's going to completely change the climb. Very easy to fight that swing now. The top section is going to be now where the action is. There's a couple of options now for the top. The first option, which is a little more difficult, is a cool knee bar. Once you're here and here, the next hold you have to gain is the tiny crimp back from the arete. There's a couple of options to do that. One option that's kind of cool is a knee bar. So from here, stick a knee scum and then just reach back. The issue with that option is that once you get this hold in that particular position, you are committed to doing the throw to the top with your right hand low on the good crimp. And that is quite a far move. And I found that move, I could do it, but I found it to be difficult. So I searched for other options. The easier option that I came up with to make the move to the top easier was a beta that allowed me to gain my right hand here on this slopey arete and then do the throw from these two hands, which is quite a bit less difficult than doing the throw from this. So I'll see if I can demonstrate that. So that's a pretty cool sequence. I especially like this hold is difficult and you have to grab it just right. And you have to go very fast to this hold. So it's very accurate. So it's a really nice style of climbing. I really like those fast moves that force accuracy. Very different than the old Mama Bear. Finally, once you get your hands set up on the crimp and on the sloper, it's just a pop to the top. There's a couple of ways to do that. I found my foot was trapped over on the right arete, and so I just went with that. Threw a heel up and popped to the top. Then you get here, and it's easiest to just go again and grab the top, where it's really quite positive. And then once you're here, it's the old top out of Mama Bear. That's all the beta. I'm going to sit down, do a Sengo from the bottom, and then pack up and close this chapter on Mama Bear. Wet.
A few moments ago.
Almost every 15 minutes a rain shower comes through, enough to soak my pads and all of my holds. It's a bad situation from a temp's perspective when there is literally a slug on the start hold. And not just one slug, but 2 slugs, 3 slugs, 4 slugs. So the down climb is going to be scarier than the up climb. I've got steep slabs on either side that are wet from the rain. The lichen is moist, so the feet aren't trustworthy. And I've got to scurry down the backside here and try not to fall into this deep gully. So not looking forward to this. The great philosopher king, Marcus Aurelius, said, "The whole universe is change, and life itself is but what you deem it." I think that quote is very applicable to rock climbing. The beauty of these outdoor boulders versus the indoor climbing gym is their permanence. You can come back to the same challenge year after year. As you age and change, the rock is still here waiting for you. But the rock does change too, just on a slower time frame. Mama Bear is a classic line that is a stepping stone in the journey of every outdoor climber in Nova Scotia for a generation. And I think that the new Mama Bear will be the same in that regard. The style of the climb is the same. The moves are very similar. It just has added difficulty and added precision with the small size of the holds now, requiring higher coordination and faster hand movement. Mama Bear has changed, but is every bit as good as it was previously, and I expect that it will continue to be a classic stepping stone on the journey for another generation of Nova Scotia outdoor climbers.